Here's a guy who has 2 questions for atheists.
Before I share 2 major questions for self-proclaimed atheists, here are a few conversations that I've heard online.
That religion is in essence nothing more than a mimetic entity that serves some kind of social purpose like this, that's what it's for, but isn't actually true. And perhaps my desire for my philosophical convictions to be, true is just too high a margin to demand.
There simply are no reasons for the existence of a God. To have a subjective experience, a personal experience of God, well, we all know how easily people are fooled. We all know how easily people hallucinate, how easily they imagine, how easily they dream. So that's an extremely poor argument in favor of the existence of a God.
The idea that feeling the presence of God is proof of God's existence only works if you define God as being that feeling.
So there are no good arguments in favor of a God, and that's all one needs to say.
Both made careers out of debunking Christianity, and a lot of their audience are die-hard, self-proclaimed atheists.
Dawkins made a career out of teaching evolutionary biology. Debunking Christianity is just something he fell into. And I think it's an oversimplification to say that Alex's career is based on debunking Christianity, given how charitable he is to it.
Now, the questions that I pose to you are intended to be contemplative. I'm not suggesting I have any answers, but they are valuable for religious and non-religious alike.
Well, something is valuable insofar as it is valued. Whether they will be valuable to me depends on whether I end up valuing them.
But in this video, I'm speaking specifically to atheists, which for a very specific reason seem to have more trouble with this. Question number 1, would you rather be in love or would you rather be right?
Right about what? If I'm wrong about the nature of what I love, then I'm not really in love with what I think I'm in love with. I'd rather be in love with something real than something that isn't real. If what I'm in love with isn't real, then I'd rather not be in love. To paraphrase what Alex said in the clip this guy showed, is it really too much to ask that what we believe actually be true?
Truthfully, this is applicable to intimate relationships most often. I personally have plenty of times in my relationship wanted to be right instead of being in love.
Maybe he means being right in the sense of winning arguments rather than being actually literally correct. Wanting to be right in that sense is often in opposition to wanting to be literally right. I want to be literally right, which means being eagerly open to correction, which a person who wants to be right in the sense that this guy seems to mean often is not. I don't want to win arguments for the sake of winning arguments. I want to be literally right, which is only incompatible with love when you love something that isn't real or is not what you think it is.
And these can oftentimes be in direct opposition. It's not very enjoyable or connecting to be trying to prove a point, to be forcing a point down someone else's throat.
Which I don't do. A lot of my arguments entail expressing how many aspects of theism simply don't make sense to me. They are not so much saying that theists are wrong as they are saying that their arguments are incomprehensible and consequently ineffective. I'm not trying to convince anyone that there is no God. I'm trying to explain why I'm not convinced that there is a God. That's not the same as trying to force any idea on anyone. Rather, I'm defending myself from folks trying to force their beliefs on me.
And this is where this question is a really good reminder for me in direct relationships, but also in any friendships or any relationship at all. Would I rather be right or would I rather be in love?
I'd rather be literally right, which is a necessary condition for being in love with things that actually exist rather than imaginary things. Even if there are benefits to believing in a God, even if there isn't one, I think there are probably lots of things that are beneficial to believe in that are actually real.
I should add a caveat that this should be applicable to atheists and theists, people who fervently or zealously believe in their point of view. Would you rather be right about your perception of God, or would you rather lean into connection and love for your fellow man or woman?
Well, the Bible is clear that you should prefer to see Christianity as right over your connection to any friend or family member. Connection with other people is a lower priority. Jesus said, "If anyone comes to me and does not hate father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, even their own life, such a person cannot be my disciple."
The reason why I think atheists could particularly benefit from this question is pretty much all of the quotes I mentioned before from O'Connor, from Dawkins. There is an undertone of using rationality and logic to prove what's right, whereas faith, generally speaking, focuses on the emphasis of believing in something even without the claim of truth, whether through facts and figures, statistics, etc.
I think you mean without evidence. Hebrews 11:1 says that faith is assurance of what we do not see. It is belief in what is not evident. Even if it is beneficial to believe in a God without evidence, I'm simply not capable of doing so, so the benefit is of no consequence to me.
Question number 2. Is it true or is it useful? By all measurement of well-being.
There seem to be a lot of folks who are defending religion without even believing in it because they think it's good for society, even if it isn't true. Even if it is the case that religion has benefits for society, it certainly isn't useful for increasing all measurements of well-being. When it comes to developing useful technology, science is consistently more effective than prayer, for example.
Having a spiritual connection to a higher power is better than not. Here's a study of 125,000 people in 77 countries, which found that people who believed in God were happier, healthier, had a greater sense of well-being.
I think there's a good reason to infer that this is true of people who hold any belief that they enjoy holding, whether it is true or not. I don't see why it wouldn't be the case that you can hold pleasant beliefs that are true and get the same effect. I see no reason to assume that theism is the only belief that can achieve this.
I'm not saying you have to suspend your skepticism about specific gods, whether it's Christianity or Islam. If those don't resonate, if there's some elements of those religions that is against your values, I understand, but don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Well, the reason I don't believe in any creator gods is because I can't. I'm not simply choosing not to. I can't understand what it would mean for all of space and time to be created. I don't know how to make sense of such a thing, and I don't know how to believe in things I don't understand.
Because it's clear from every standard of measurement that essentially it's pretty useful to believe in a higher power.
Well, it's not epistemically useful. By that I mean it can't help you make accurate predictions about experience or accurately navigate the world. The assumption that there's a higher power can't help me predict the weather, which investment opportunity will be most profitable, or whether a new medication will be effective. I want to believe in things that help me accurately predict things like that. I want beliefs that are useful in that sense.
Sometimes that higher power doesn't have to be part of an organized religion. I can attest that oftentimes it is the hallucinations that Dawkins talks about. Simply have an altered state experience, whether it be entheogens, psychedelics, or a sweat lodge, or any kind of experience that genuinely impacts your physiology to a place where you're connected to something greater than yourself.
Greater in what sense? I've never understood what theists mean when they talk about God being greater or higher. Greater in what sense? By what measure? Is he taller than me? Does he weigh more? What's the point of connecting, whatever that even means, with things that are bigger than me?
You could call it God, whatever the case is. Connect to that. My invitation is to ensure you have a connection because by all measurements, it's better. It's more useful.
Well, no, not by all measurements. As I already explained, it can't help you make accurate predictions as well as scientifically formed models of the world can. It just makes you feel better and trust like-minded people more.
And it's going to lead to more life satisfaction.
It's not more useful at telling me any of the things I previously listed. To everyone who helps me out on Patreon, you're a big help. Thanks so much.